everyone, it's Alissa from Planet Alissa. I am here with this week's What I Sold on Etsy video, and this week is like the complete opposite of last week. Last week was really slow and dead, and I blamed it on the summer, but I really don't know what the reason was because this week was very, very busy, and I sold a whole lot of stuff on Etsy. I sold a total of 25 items for a total of $384.50. So way more than met my $200 goal, almost doubled it, and I guess made up for last week's slow week. But I wasn't really doing anything special, so I have no explanation for it. It's just the way that it goes, I guess. So I'll try not to be too long and get through all the items that I sold. First I'll show you the shop stats, and then I'll show you each of the items that sold and how much they sold for. So, without further ado, here's a look at the stats for the week. Here's the shop stats screen. Now, other than the total revenue for the week, it really doesn't look that much different than a typical week for me. Actually, it's showing $387.50, and I thought I had $384 down. So either I forgot something or something's off there. But anyway, 2,300 views. That's about normal for me. What was it, like 1,400 listing views and the balance shop views, 131 favorites, most of those being listing favorites, 16 orders because at least 3 of the orders I had were buyers that purchased multiple items. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you each of the different items that sold. First item that sold was actually one of the smaller, less expensive ones. This is just a little charm that sold for $5. It's some kind of souvenir from, I'm guessing, some sort of castle or lake or something in Europe, but I'm not familiar with it. And then the next thing that sold was this drafting set, which sold for $40. I feel like I just sold a drafting set maybe last week or the week before, so I think I might be fresh out of drafting sets right now. I think I picked this one up at an auction. I sold this vintage Disney mug for $20. I believe this one was a souvenir from Disneyland, and it had all the different Disney characters. Really a nice mug, a little bit nicer than your typical mug, I would say. And I think I picked it up at a thrift store. Sold a set of mini erasers. They're all shaped like sea creatures. This sold for $5. These aren't too old, probably from the 1980s. I used to collect erasers when I was a kid. These aren't for my collection, but I don't know, I picked them up in a lot somewhere. I had some others as well. And so these sold this week. It's back to school time, I guess. Sold this rack rummy set for $40. Comes in that nice leatherette type case. Picked this up at a rummage sale at the start of the summer. This was one of my international orders this week. I sold a backgammon set last week that was going to England, and I sold this rack rummy set this week that was going to Australia. So the shipping was not cheap. It was more than the item itself, and you would think who would pay that, but you know, people do. If they want it badly enough and you can't get it where you are, you know, it's worth it, I guess, to pay for the high shipping. So don't be afraid of international shipping, and you're going to see those costs and you're going to say who's going to buy it, but once in a while you get someone who does. And then I sold this book set. These were all children's books, children's novels. They sold for $25. There's 4 of them. And I picked these up at a variety of places. I just, you know, when I find cool old books, I buy them if the price is right, and then just put them together in different lots. And this and the next 3 items you're going to see were all bought by the same buyer. They were all Cruel Embroidery Kits, and they're all Kathy Alexander kits, I believe, like mini kits. So there's this one, this Bluebird, which sold for $8. Now this package happened to be open. This package and the Yellowbird that she bought were both open packages, so I listed those for $8. A little bit less money. They're all there. They're all, you know, it had all the components, but the package had been cut open. And this one is like a bouquet of like Indian corn and, you know, red leaves, like kind of like a fall bouquet, I guess. So this set sold for $10. And then this set also sold for $10. Both of these were still sealed up. And this is cute little chipmunks. And finally, here's the Yellowbird kit, which sold for $8. And I picked these up at different places. I didn't get these all at the same time. I think at least a couple of them came from a local flea market fundraiser thing. A couple might have come from a thrift store. This is a set of 3 skunk figurines that sold for $12. The figurines are all attached to each other with that chain that you see there. So there's like a mama skunk and 2 baby skunks, I guess. And very cute. The mama skunk has like actual fur, glued onto the tail. Not in perfect condition, but in nice condition. And I think I picked these up at a thrift store. Sold these vintage cat-sized sunglasses for $35. Now, I actually had these listed at $40, and the buyer who was interested in them asked if I would take $35. I said sure. I've actually had these listed for some time. I'm not sure. I had some that actually came from my grandmother. I don't know if these did. I think these might have come from a thrift store, but I have had them for quite a while in my shop. And something else that I've had for a while is this Wewheel hot dog cooker. I actually marked it down. I had it priced at $15, and I put it in the clearance section of my shop and marked it down to $7.50, and someone did buy it. I picked this up at a garage sale a while ago. It's in the original box, which is what makes it cool, I think. I don't know if they're actually going to use it or just, like the retro, old-timey look of it. And another mug that I sold this week, this one sold for $15. It was issued, I guess, in conjunction with the Diary of a Edwardian Country Lady, I think. Is that what it's called? Something like that is the name of it. And this is the January edition. I guess they had mugs for each month or each season or whatever. So really pretty, but unusual kind of thing. I guess you have people are collecting these. They want all of them. But I picked this up at a thrift store, I believe. And here's another one of the orders that was multiple items. So the buyer bought this and the next 2 items you'll see. These are a set of stickers. They sold for $8. It's a sealed up package from Current Cards with these botanical print stickers. They were nice stickers, larger stickers, and there were, I want to say like 8 or 10 on a sheet and like 3 or 4 sheets, so there were a decent amount of stickers. Now this was another item that was in the clearance section of my shop, so it sold for $10. I originally had these priced at $20 and marked it down to $10. This is a new old stock knife set, so you have steak knives as well as different, carving knives and such there. Kind of kitschy, tacky style with the handles there. And these were in the original box, new old stock, as I said, I think. And I picked these up at a garage sale, I think, or an estate sale, but a while ago. And then the third item this buyer bought was this set of craft booklets. I think there were 7 booklets, and it sold for $12. These are just like paper booklets with different kind of like upcycling type crafts, like things to make out of egg cartons and cardboard boxes and things like that. But pretty cool vintage craft booklets. I think these came from like a lot at an auction. Like I wasn't really trying to buy them, but they came with other stuff that I was buying. And then another school supply item that sold this week was this vintage pencil case. It sold for $20. Actually had some vintage pens and pencils in it as well. They can't see that in this picture. Just kind of a simple, older style case, which is kind of cool because, not as flashy as some of the modern pencil cases. And I picked this up at a barn sale. This was a while ago, because it's someone who hasn't had this barn sale at all this year. I know that. And yet another item from the clearance section of my shop. This is Grumpy. He's like a PVC figurine that his arms move. He's a little bit larger than a traditional figurine, maybe comparative. I would say he's a little bit taller than Strawberry Shortcake. Anyway, he sold for $5. I originally had him priced at $10 and had him for a while, and he hadn't sold, so I marked him down to $5. I picked this up at a thrift store a long time ago. And here's another set of multiple items that sold to the same buyer, and as it happens, these were also going to Australia, so the shipping was pretty high on these as well. They bought this teapot, which like has that chrome tea cozy that goes over the top there, for $30. And where did I get this? I don't remember where I picked up this teapot. And then they also bought these mini playing cards from Washington, D.C. As you can see, they're a tiny size there. They sold for $6. Came in a little plastic case. And then they bought this small-sized Jigsaw Puzzle. This is a Springbok puzzle in the shape of an Oreo cookie, sold for $20, but of course it's one of those mini puzzles, so I don't mind putting those together. I'm not going to put together the big ones. As it was, this was a tricky puzzle to put together, because as you can see, a lot of the pieces are the same exact color. Then also in that order was this set of Christmas postcards. These were unused postcards with religious Christmas messages on them. They sold for $10. It was a set of 20 of them. And the final item in their order was this Billy the Kid postcard, which sold for $6. It's a vintage, as you can see, linen postcard with that tinted style illustration of Billy the Kid, although I don't see his head. But it's there, I promise. And I believe this postcard was in unused condition. I can't remember, though. And then the final item that sold this week, this was not part of that order, this was to a different buyer, was this small metal advertising sign advertising a plumbing company in York, Pennsylvania. This sold for $20. I picked this up at an antique mall, I guess back in the spring. So that's everything I sold this week. Keep in mind that the prices you see are just the selling price of the item, so it doesn't include any shipping fees that are paid by the buyer. Also does not include any fees that I paid to Etsy or fees that I paid to purchase the item. I put out these videos every week showing the different vintage items that I've sold in my Etsy shop Planned Alissa, and then I try to get some other videos out as well. I know I'm due to get some more haul follow-up videos out. I have a haul video to get out for you. I still got to finish putting it together. I won't tell you, but I had a special guest in that video, so hopefully you'll get to see him. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you have a great weekend, and happy selling, everyone!